Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Chris.
How are you doing today?
Good, and yourself?
I'm doing well. Beautiful overcast day here in Greensboro, North Carolina. Late winter. It'll be spring soon.
Counting the days.
Yeah. You know, my dad used to tell me when I was younger, I loved winter and he wasn't so fond of it. And the older he gets, the less fond he was of it. And I didn't understand that, but now I do. I get cold more easily than I did when I was younger, and I get grumpy.
My favorite season is obviously fall.
Yes.
Partly because of football, but love the season too.
Yep, me too.
And my second would be spring, but here in North Carolina, we get about a week of spring. Mm-hmm. We go from winter, a week of spring, to
spring
90
is
degrees summer.
So volatile. You know, it can be cold one day, hot the next, tornadoes, crazy wind, or beautiful weather. You never know.
For a week.
Yeah. but in the fall, it's contiguous, beautiful weather. So,
right.
Yeah, we love fall. So we have let's see, chit chat, weather. What is happening? What's happening with you, Eric?
We're rolling right through the list.
That's right.
Thought this was supposed to be incoherent. We seem to have a list here we follow. So.
Well, it is incoherent. I mean, with the way our brains work, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You've been doing okay this week?
Cannot complain.
Yep.
Actually making progress. I had a plumbing issue several months ago in my basement where I had to jackhammer up the concrete to get to the pipes and all that. And we're finally at the stage of putting things back together.
There were some roots growing into some stuff.
Growing into my cast iron pipes. They've all been replaced, and then they re-poured the concrete and did it uneven, so I had to have the floors leveled, and I had a new shower installed, but I did it wrong. I had to have them come back and redo it again. So, I mean, it's just it's one step forward, two steps back.
Yes.
But we're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's good. I have had a good week in doing some tree work here in February. I like to get my trees trimmed, and I got a few more that I need to take down, but
I've got a maple tree in my front yard that I've got. It's got some rot in the trunk, and I'm always afraid that it's two branches, and I'm afraid one side is going to split it in half and hit my car. So I'm starting to get quotes on getting that. I'd love to save it, but I just don't know.
I've seen you show me. Yeah, you can.
And I'm seeing where the roots are dying too. Because I can see where mushrooms are growing up in the yard right along where the root lines are. So the tree's clearly dying. But it's a very, very old silver maple. I just hate to lose it. But
how close is it to falling on the house?
It's nowhere near the house. I could lose a car.
I mean, then I could probably help you take it down.
I don't know.
In pieces?
I don't know. Maybe.
I remember seeing it, but I don't remember. It depends on where the weight is distributed.
And it's a big trunk. I mean, I couldn't. Two of us maybe could hug around it. I mean, that's how big the trunk is.
Yeah.
So
there are ways. As long as it's not close to the house.
I'm almost tempted just to have it topped, so to lessen the weight on it, so that if it did, less likely to split. Maybe it would heal. I don't know. But
well, if you already see some dying on it, it doesn't come back from that.
It never does.
No, once it starts dying. Now there are ways you can top it, or you can take off some of the weight distribution and definitely prolong it for sure. Yeah, but I mean, once it starts dying, it's not going to magically spring back to life. So
I mean, it's not dead. It's got plenty of leaves. It's still, but anyway.
There's some trees out here that I've literally just pushed over with my hand, like literally, maybe they're like this big, and I just push them right to the ground.
Wow. Yeah.
So, okay. Yes. See, incoherently rambling. If you would be so inclined, even if you don't watch it real time, well, we don't broadcast live, even if you just sporadically listen here and there, it would be a huge help if you subscribe and follow us, engage. Listener submitted stories are our favorite. There are ways you can see, and no matter what platform you're at, it has all of our social media, has email address. There are many different ways you can engage with us. So please feel free to do that. We would appreciate it. And then, I mean, we can't keep our merchandise in stock.
Well,
it's just flying off
hit or
the
miss.
shelves.
but
we do have
our most popular items are back.
Right, we do we do have some sweatshirts, t-shirts,
trucker hat,
yeah. So if you would be interested in that, feel free. It's in the description as well. The URLs are all there, so we would appreciate it. Well, we actually do have an outline. We don't always stick perfectly to it, but we do, and we always hit up celebrity birthdays. And so today, and if it's someone like Jake Paul, he's a YouTube star, but obviously he has celebrity status outside of YouTube.
Right.
So we cover, but like YouTube stars that we haven't heard of or TikTok. No offense, guys, we don't know you.
Which is the majority. I mean, the only
right.
Are we on TikTok?
No.
So no. I don't know any stars.
Yeah, I don't either. I find the name and everything about it annoying, so I have no interest in TikTok. So, but we do today. We do have Alan Rickman. He is he was in those.
He was in
Harry
Snape.
Potter movies.
He was Snape in the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
He was in Die Hard.
Die Hard, and some other stuff. British actor. Mm-hmm. I did want to cover here. There's Jean Calment. She's called a super centenarian. There is a connection with her and Van Gogh, who she sold colored pencils to.
Oh my goodness.
At some point in time. So first of all, she was born this day, February 21st, 1875. She died August the 4th, 1997, at the age of 122.
Wow.
And almost a half.
So she was born in France. Did she die in France? Is that where she stay there her entire life?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And I do want to, there's some trivia. She credited her extraordinary longevity to olive oil, which she used generously on her food and skin, as well as a diet of port wine and about 1 kilogram of chocolate a week. So I've got that last part down.
Sarah would love that. That's a diet she could stick to. Look at that. She met Vincent van Gogh at the age of 13 and found him to be dirty, badly dressed, and disagreeable.
And by looking at his art, I think that would matches perfectly.
No.
It is dirty, badly dressed, and disagreeable.
No.
Have you seen it?
It's colorful and
badly dressed and disagreeable. Okay, so maybe not dirty. It is colorful. No, but I did want to point this out. This is all we have to go here. No context. But her parents were Nicholas Calment and Marguerite Gills. Mm-hmm. She and her husband, Ferdinand Nicholas Calment. You notice that her dad was Nicholas Calment. What is going on there? Was there some interweaving of the families?
So let me tell you, I've got off on these tangents on YouTube where you watch Ancestry.com. Mm-hmm. I forget that gentleman's name, something Gates. I want to say William Gates, but I could be wrong. Where he'll delve into the ancestry of celebrities.
Yes.
And comes up with shocking results at times. Like Kevin Bacon and Keira Sedgwick are like cousins, like ninth, cousins once removed or something like that, but they are cousins. There was a story about Paul Rudd's parents who were second cousins. Mm-hmm. So anyway.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. He said that explained why he had 4 nipples. He said, who plays Bernie Sanders on SNL? Do you remember? Oh, David, the guy from Seinfeld, the help creator of Seinfeld. What's his name? Something David. Anyway, they're actually cousins, which I thought was funny.
Yeah. Genealogy can be tricky. Mm-hmm. We got Jennifer Love Hewitt today. Happy birthday, 47. Jordan Peele.
Love Jordan Peele.
Yeah. Blanket Jackson is 24.
Aaron?
Aaron. No, that's the other one. But yeah.
He was in it. He was Timothy.
No, Timothy.
Timothy.
He
was Timothy.
Present. If you haven't watched that skit, please go watch it. It's the substitute teacher skit. Watch both of them back to back. You will thank us later. Blanket Jackson. So interesting here.
Blanket Jackson.
He's also known as Prince Michael Jackson II because his oldest brother is Prince Michael Jackson. But his name is Blanket. I'm not sure what's up with that. Some interesting thing. I don't want to delve too deeply into this, but there's some stuff coming out with that seems to be the opposite of the narrative we were sold with the late Michael Jackson. About how he was actually trying to save and protect children with the whole Epstein Island thing. Interesting development there. We broke Michael Jackson's death live on the air.
No, did we on the previous show?
It was probably... I'm serious. We were probably one of the first people that did it live. Because as we were recording the show, which was live at the time, I saw the article and I was like, Michael Jackson just died. And you were like, what? And it literally had just happened. Mm-hmm. It had just been announced. And so I'm sure we weren't the first to report it because I was reading it online, but we actually covered it live as soon as it hit the wire.
I have terrible memory. Was it with a drug cocktail or something like that?
Yeah, propofol. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had issues sleeping, and so the doctor would give him propofol and administer it for him to sleep in about a 6 to 8 hour window, which is great if you're having a colonoscopy. Not great if you're doing it every night to sleep. Right. So Blanket Jackson, and then who else do we have here? Kelsey Grammer, yes, 71. And I should have looked it up. I'm serious. I think they're doing some kind of reboot.
Yeah, we were talking. Kelsey Grammer at one point had the longest running television character.
Yes,
on air. Maybe not on air. Maybe it was all time. But he started as Kelsey Grammer on Cheers, fantastic series, and then went on to start his own. Mm-hmm. It was called Kelsey. What's the name of his? Frasier.
Frasier was the name of it. Yep. Yeah. Rue McClanahan, which
from your Golden Girls,
has a connection to my favorite all-time, Betty White. I can't explain why I love Betty White.
Well, she's your celebrity crush.
Yeah, well, she just was a beautiful woman.
Yeah,
absolutely beautiful
and funny, genuinely funny.
Oh, hilarious! Not only hilarious, but in addition to that, I love self-deprecation. And she had it down. Just like Norm Macdonald. She was always, but I don't know. She was just fantastic.
There was a clip of her on some show, and one of her friends had said that William Shatner had come on her, and she said something like the fact that she wished she could say that, or something like that.
Okay, Eric.
Hey, I'm just repeating what she said.
So, anyhow, speaking of William Shatner, he's releasing a metal album.
A what?
A heavy metal album.
I did not know that. Are you serious?
I am serious.
Are you making that up?
No, he is releasing a heavy metal album. I should know all the names. I can't remember them, but Zakk Wylde, who played guitar for Ozzy and has a successful career in his own band, Black Label Society, is playing guitar for him. And everybody in the band is of fame in that genre. And he is releasing a heavy metal album. Yes, William Shatner.
I'll believe when I see it. But he does do everything. Mm-hmm. And that guy is just nonstop. And how old is William now? I mean, he's 90s, right?
I don't know. How old is he? This was not part of the show.
And he's always on the History Channel doing
He is 94.
94.
Yes, right here. He He has explored space and time, now explored distortion. Yes, you read that correctly. I'm releasing a heavy metal album. This is his official blue check mark Facebook page. It's not a thing. At 94, one does not slow down, one turns the volume up. So prepare yourselves. We're about to boldly headbang where no one has headbanged before. Stay tuned. But I mean, it's not a joke. I mean, he really is doing it.
Wow.
And he's 94, which is awesome.
That is.
Do you have any other birthdays? Did you have birthdays? We don't always pull from the same list.
Not that.
Not of notoriety.
Not really. Sophie Turner. She was an English actress in Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Elliot Page. He was a Canadian actor.
Yeah, I skipped him.
For and Inception.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. John Lewis, the American politician and civil rights leader.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
William Baldwin.
Oh, well, he was not on my list.
How about that?
Yes.
He was born in 1963.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much.
Yeah.
Unless you want to count the president of Zimbabwe. The former president of Zimbabwe.
The former president, yes. Mm-hmm. So we'll move to this day in history, which I'm not going to do it up front. I'm going to do it at the end. Has something that goes to one of my good news stories, because I thought it was pretty cool story that shows perseverance. I'll just leave it to that. Mm-hmm. Today, 1965, Malcolm X was assassinated. That was pretty big news at the time. 3 gentlemen, I cannot remember their names, were indicted and charged. 2 maintained their innocence, 1 pled guilty. And then
all members of the Nation of Islam. Wasn't one of them acquitted years later?
2. 1 had passed.
Okay.
But 2 were exonerated.
Okay.
Because there was evidence that was not turned over to the defense attorneys and everybody that it should have been turned over to. Yeah. But they had maintained their innocence from the beginning. And the guy who confessed said, yeah, those guys didn't have any part in it. But yeah, unfortunately, he was assassinated by his former mentor in organization.
Right.
But obviously a pretty significant day in history as far as that's concerned. What else
that was in 65.
1965, yes.
If you go back all the way to 1848, Karl Marx, he publishes the first version of the Communist Manifesto.
Yeah, an evil man with evil ideology. And that's not a political statement. We are not political on the show. That's just a factual statement. He was an evil man. That's like Norm Macdonald said on The View. I thought it was just a matter of public fact, documentation. What did he say? Do you know what? Have you ever seen that clip?
No.
Oh my goodness, you should go watch it.
And I can't imagine there's a Norm Macdonald clip I haven't seen, but I don't remember it.
So there's the one I watched. It was entitled "Norm Macdonald Making People Uncomfortable" or something like that. And he was on The View, and he made a statement. They were pretending to be okay with it, but wanting to move on, and he just doubled down, tripled down, and then they were like, you got to stop, and he just kept going, and then he kept going back to it, and it was talking about a former president and some alleged wrongdoings. Well, I'll just leave it at that. And he's like, I thought it was a matter of public record, and they were like, shut up. You should watch it. I mean, it really is funny, and you can tell they legitimately want him off the set,
right?
And that's, you've seen him do that at the ESPYs. Mm-hmm. He's a great comedian. Anyhow, Karl Marx, yes. Washington Monument was dedicated this day in 1885.
Did not know that.
Mm-hmm. It was built in honor of America's Revolutionary War and first president. It's 555 feet tall, and it's marble. You've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it with you.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive to see. Jackson and I got a cool picture in front of it. Well, we weren't at the monument. We were at another monument, but it was a perfect background.
Right.
To it. Yeah.
It's all there in the mall.
Mm-hmm. What else do we have? NASCAR was founded today.
Yep, 1948.
And I know NASCAR is a global phenomenon at this point, even though it has, kind of gone down some. But here in North Carolina, it's its birthplace. Yeah. And how was it born? Bootleggers.
Yep.
Yep. Bootlegging moonshine, running from the law. Just some good old boys. Let's see what else we have. I'm going to skip over this one. I shouldn't even point it out to you.
No, but I do have a story about an Olympic back in 1980. Speed skater Eric, I think it was Hayden.
Mm-hmm.
He won 5 gold medals from the Lake Placid Winter Olympics.
Wow.
And I was in 6th grade when that happened, and I actually did a report on him.
Oh, really?
That's the only reason why I mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, in 1970, the Jackson 5 makes its TV debut.
And were they on Sullivan?
They were, I don't remember. I don't think it was Ed Sullivan.
I get in my mind because it's where the Beatles were, so everything like that had to happen on Ed Sullivan. But
maybe you're right. I can't remember.
I was not alive, so I don't remember.
What are you trying to say? I should. What year is it? 70? I was 2 years old. It was on Sullivan.
Yeah, that was usually at that time frame. That's where the big names would, up and comers would do their debut. Jackson 5. See, everything ties in together. We were talking about Michael Jackson earlier.
That's right.
We were talking about NASCAR last week. I mean,
mm-hmm. Well, if you really want to go back to last week, I saw something else that I kind of skimmed over. I didn't think it was really necessarily noteworthy as far as an event, but in 1895, North Carolina legislature adjourned today to mark the passing of Frederick Douglass.
Oh, okay. And we had talked about him on our first episode.
Sure enough.
Yep.
So,
an honorable man.
Indeed.
And in 1981, Dolly Parton cemented her legacy as a crossover success when 9 to 5 hits number 1. And I actually do remember that. It being pretty much everywhere you would turn, it was on most of the radio stations. So shout out to Dolly Parton, who has a theme park not far from where we live.
Right.
So, yep.
In 1989, Pete Rose met with the MLB commissioner to discuss his gambling. Did we talk about Pete Rose on here? I thought that we might have, but maybe we didn't. Recently.
I don't know.
I guess not.
Yeah, I love Pete Rose.
Yeah. I think it's a travesty that he was not in the Hall of Fame before he passed.
Right.
So that's my point. Bill Maher's political talk show Real Time with Bill Maher debuted on HBO in 2003.
Okay. So, he used to make me want to pull my teeth out.
I know, but he's really
he
come around.
He has. He is willing to take a step back and look at the entire picture.
Yep.
Instead of just part of the picture, which I definitely appreciate. So here's the fact of the day. In 2016, a quadruple amputee. Quadruple.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Maynard summited Mount I can't pronounce it, the tallest mountain in South America, after bear crawling up the nearly 23,000 foot peak without prosthetics. 4 years later, he climbed Mount Kilimanjaro the same way.
Wow.
That's impressive. Like, there are many people, us included, that could not do it with all 4 limbs. He did it without any limbs and out prosthetics.
How do you do it with no feet, no
bear crawling? Like the nubs on both one, he just did this all the way up. That's impressive. I would say that's one of the more impressive athletic feats I have read about. It doesn't say how long it took, but in my opinion, I don't know that it matters how long it took. If he did that on his own, that's pretty impressive.
what is it Stephen Wright says? Everywhere's walking distance if you have the time.
Right.
I guess everywhere's crawling distance if you if you have enough time. So.
we do enjoy the dry humor, right?
Yep.
You know Hedberg.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
He reminds me of that.
Similar style.
Yeah. Well, what I appreciate about it is it's not the jokes. It's just like Norm Macdonald.
Yep.
It's not the jokes, it's the delivery, right? That gets me. So, well, that covers birthdays and this day in history. Do we have any good news?
Yeah, we have a couple of good news stories today.
Mm-hmm.
They are hard to find, though, aren't they?
They are. Well, and again, as we've said, this is not a political show, but a lot, not all, a lot of the good news stories, unfortunately, are good news through a certain political lens.
Right.
And not just one political lens. But I mean, that's not the kind of good news we're looking for that just appeals to one segment. We're looking at actual good news.
Right.
So you have the canal story?
Yeah, we both had the canal story. Mm-hmm. Where Casey Curtis rescued Shaniqua Wilkins and her 3 children from their car that plunged into a Florida canal. I guess she had suffered from a seizure.
Yeah, she had a seizure. Mm-hmm.
And the car crashed into the canal, was partially submerged.
Mm-hmm.
And he had passed by, or actually I think he saw it happen, stopped, went back, got the children out first. Mm-hmm. And I guess there was an 8-year-old daughter that was in the car that helped keep the younger kids' heads above water until he rescued those 3, got them to safety, and then stayed with the mother until the rescuers got there and kept her head above.
Right. And actually, her head was below water, and when he got her out of the water, she was not breathing. But he gave her. Oh, I don't know if it was straight CPR, but they said he gave her a breath, and then she started breathing. It was a weird way to say CPR, but somehow he was able to get her back to breathing. I actually, there's a GoFundMe for her that to help out with medical bills and whatnot. I believe the kids were 8, 4, and 2, something like that. And so he's a hero for sure. What was his name?
Curtis. Casey Curtis.
Casey Curtis. Yeah. So
speaking of GoFundMe, my next story, it kind of ties into that. The Big Bang Theory star, what was his? On the show, he was Rajesh. In real life, his name is Kunal Nayar.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Apparently, of course, all the stars in that show are pretty well off.
Yes, very well off.
And he says that sometimes at night he'll scroll through the GoFundMe pages and just pay off strangers' medical bills.
And
at random.
Right.
And he also supports like animal charities and stuff like that. But apparently he just quietly paid off some young woman's medical bills here recently, and it made the news. So.
Yeah, and I have kind of a mixed feeling on that. It making the news, because that goes against what he was trying to do.
Right.
But through no fault of his own. I mean, people, they asked him about it, and he was being generic. He's like, I just, randomly scroll around and do this. So he wasn't calling out, the names or whatever,
right,
bringing attention to himself. But that's a cool thing that to do. And he does it anonymously.
And makes a big impact on those people's lives, I'm sure.
Right. And they don't know it was him.
Right.
Which I think that's kind of the way it should be.
Right.
Like, not putting yourself in the limelight. And people do that, and then they get slammed for it. But I don't slam them, because even if they're doing it for publicity, the end result is a good deed.
Right. Like, who was it? It was Oprah and The Rock who donated money to the Hawaiian fire victims, and they caught so much slack for only contributing like 10 million or something, which is people thought was a small drop in the bucket for what they were worth. But I mean, how can you slam somebody for donating anything to a good cause?
Yeah, someone was saying something to me about that, and I asked them how much they had donated.
Right.
And they changed the topic real quick.
Right.
I don't understand this thought process that people have that think that anyone, but in this specific case, people of great wealth, why they think that those people have a moral and ethical obligation to give all their money away. I don't understand that.
Right.
Because if they did that, then they would be worse off than the people they're giving the money to. It doesn't make sense. The fact that they gave away $10 million, I think is commendable, period.
Right.
And that's a lot of money. Who would complain about that?
My gut tells me if I was a billionaire that I would be giving away more than I see a lot of billionaires giving.
Mm-hmm.
But it's your personal choice. It's not an obligation.
Well, you have to remember too, someone can be a billionaire. That doesn't mean they have billions in liquid.
That's true.
It's billions on paper.
Right.
And in fact, there are plenty of billionaires that have very low income, actual income.
Right.
Which is how they get away with not paying so much taxes.
Exactly right.
That's how the tax system works.
They borrow against their assets. It's a loan, but they live off it as an income.
Right.
In that the assets that they've gotten the loan on are continuing to appreciate.
Right.
So it is, I don't know.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's their money. They have no obligation to give it away.
Right.
Some have their own personal moral obligation to do so, and that's commendable. But I can't impose that upon anyone.
No, but I can see where maybe they should be taxed on what they withdraw on the loans they take against their assets for personal use. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, but that would be like if I took a lien on my house, not a lien, but a equity line to buy something. I wouldn't want to get taxed on that.
I hear you. But you see, I don't ever take a loan. I have an equity line. Mm-hmm. I only use it for improvements on my house. Mm-hmm. But I guess that's just a personal thing. I could have used it for sending my daughter to college or whatever I wanted to. I guess you're right.
Yeah, if that's your equity, and you could go get an equity loan and buy a car.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Anyhow, at the end of the day, if someone gives away any amount of money, whether it's $1 or $10 million, don't complain. Right. Be appreciative that they found it in their heart to do such. Mm-hmm. What else do we have?
Any other good stories? I've got one.
Mm-hmm.
There was apparently a man who jumped into frigid Lake Michigan after someone's stroller, the wind gust blew it into the water. Mm-hmm. And the guy that jumped in didn't know how to swim.
Mm.
So even though he says he didn't know how to swim, a gust of wind sent a stroller carrying an 8-month-old girl rolling right into Lake Michigan at Belmont Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
That was just on Wednesday. He says he didn't know how to swim, but he saw that the mother was just in shock and wasn't going to do anything, and he didn't want the kid to die. So he jumped in, and luckily the stroller was upright in the kid's face, only went underwater a couple times. Mm-hmm. But he was able to keep it up, and some other bystanders helped him get to shore. And that's heroic.
It is.
Especially considering he doesn't know how to swim.
Right. If he was a world-class swimmer, is a heroic, but taking that into account, he was placing someone else's well-being above his own, which is something that it would be easy to say you would do, but let's be honest, not many people would do it.
Yeah.
So
I hope you're wrong.
I don't think they would. People would be like, "Hey, I don't know how to swim. I don't know."
Right. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I think it's people that don't know how to swim, I think, are also in the minority.
Correct.
I would hope that there's many bystanders that would jump in and take action.
I'm of the opinion everybody knows how to swim. Some people just don't know that they know how to swim. First 10 months of your life, you're spent in water, so or liquid.
I remember first time.
You remember that?
No, but I do remember the first time I was swimming, and I was in the shallow end, and I made it from one end to the other. And his dad says, "Okay, now you can swim." I said, "Yeah, I can swim now." He says, "Okay." Came out of the water. He picked me up and threw me in the deep end. I said, "Well, you said you can just swim in the shallow end. You can swim in the deep end."
So this is a true story. I'm not making it up, not embellishing. but I don't remember how old I was, but probably somewhere around 7 or 8 years old. We were at a friend of the family, my mother's good friend. Her name was Jerry, and said, Christopher doesn't know how to swim, and she, like, right in front of my mother, picked me up and threw me into the deep end of her pool. I do not remember this. I remember going to her house, and I don't remember this. And my mom, like, lost her mind. And her friend Jerry's like, he'll figure it out. And I've been swimming ever since. Maybe not a route that you would recommend for everyone,
right?
But it worked for me.
My mom didn't know how to swim.
Mm-hmm.
Two things. She knew how to drive, never drove,
mm-hmm.
and didn't know how to swim. Even though we had a membership to a local swim club and Crestwood in Kettering, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I spent every day in my summers. But her birthday was yesterday. She would have been 90 yesterday.
90 years old.
Yep.
The late, great Patricia.
That's right.
What a lovely woman. When did your parents pass?
In
20. Was it 20 or 20? It
was 20.
20, yeah, 2020.
Wait. Was it 20 or 22?
I think it was in the throes of COVID.
Right, and that was in 20, so it might have been 22.
Yeah.
I have to look. That's terrible. I don't remember. I'm terrible with dates. You probably, but yeah, both mom and dad both died the same week.
Yep.
Dad on a Wednesday and mom on a Friday.
Yeah, just 2 days apart, right?
Yep.
It kind of not fun for you, but I always find those stories touching.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When they pass in sequence like that, it to me, it could be happenstance, but to me, it kind of shows the bond between the two.
Yeah, if I could have planned it, it's exactly the way I would have planned it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So they were in bed together, holding hands.
Yeah, you sent me that picture.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Till the end, exactly. It reminds me of my great aunt Ruby and Uncle Edgar. They were both in the hospital. He was in the hospital fighting some issues that I think that eventually led to his passing. She was in the hospital for a hip replacement. And she wanted to see him. And they said, okay, we're going to come get you. And when the nurse came there with the wheelchair to get her, she was putting on makeup. And she's like, oh, Miss Wyndham, what are you doing? And she said, I'm putting on some rouge. I'm going to go see my husband for a date. And I think if it wasn't that day, it was very shortly after he passed away. So it was one of the last times they saw each other. But they were married for, oh my goodness. She was 14, he was 17, and they were married 70 some years, a long time.
Right.
Yeah. So a different era.
Yep. Mom and dad were both in a memory care unit, and they slept in separate beds because that was requirement of that memory care unit. Same apartment, but they had to be in separate beds, I guess, so they could, for getting him up out of bed and that kind of stuff. But dad always wanted to be in the same bed as her, and they'd find him sleeping on the floor next to her bed and that kind of stuff. And he'd complain to me they wouldn't let him, sleep with her. And then when the end came, they said, "Is there anything we can do?" When hospice got there, I said, "Yeah, put their beds together." And dad immediately held her hand. Right. It was sweet. It was.
Yeah. So. Fine people. I was blessed to know them for sure.
And they were married over 50 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My parents are coming up on 54, May 1st. 54
impressive.
Years. Yep. This is not necessarily a good news story, but I like the planets and viewing the sky. And a week from today, on February the 28th, something will happen that will not happen again until 2040, where all the planets will be aligned together.
Not to interrupt you, but this sounds like a next week story.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. But anytime I have a chance to say Uranus, I'm always going to go for it. Anyhow, but by the time this gets uploaded, this will have passed. We're letting people know about it ahead of time.
Unless it happens on the 28th, like you just said, which would be next Saturday. That would be.
I don't always get it uploaded on the 28th.
Oh, that's a good point.
Or if I get it uploaded on the 28th,
very good.
It might be that evening.
Some people might want a week to be able to travel to the best viewing spot.
Exactly. Yeah.
We don't want to throw it to them at last minute. We want to tease next week's show.
And there was also, I'm not going to read the article. I thought it was cute. There was a little monkey, and this is a noun, not a verb, a name. Punch the monkey. So not telling people to punch a monkey. That's his name. But he was separated from his mom at birth, and he was kind of ostracized by the community. And so now he has a little orange stuffed orangutan that he carries around with him. And so I
read that story too. And the pictures, I wish we had a way to upload the pictures. I know. But yeah, it is.
Well, there is a way to do that. We don't
choose not to. Right. It's homework for y'all. You can Google punch the monkey.
But we're not about the flashy stuff. All those fancy intros and the explosions and the things that are coming in and out of focus. I mean, nobody's got time for all that. Our assistant doesn't want to do that much work.
Oh.
Do you have any other good news stories?
I have one more.
Okay.
I said I didn't have that many, and I have more than we ever usually do.
Exactly.
Apparently, let's see if I can find it. A 6-year-old has done what no Girl Scout has ever done before. She sold over 100,000 boxes of Girl Scout cookies.
Wow.
Yeah. In a single Girl Scout cookie season, this kindergarten sold over 100,000 boxes. She told her daddy she wanted to sell the most Girl Scout cookies ever. And so they first set a goal of 10,000 boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it the old-fashioned way, where they knocked on doors and walked, out flyers and, made phone calls to try and sell as much as they could.
Mm-hmm.
And had some success, sold like 5,000. And then they made to celebrate their success, they made a post on TikTok, which neither of us would have seen,
mm-hmm.
and asking social media to help give her a little bit of a boost, and it just went viral. And it had like 5 million views, and sales took off. And before long, she had sold a lifetime record of 180,000 boxes.
Not like all in one season.
In one season.
Yeah. Wow.
So
that's impressive.
Yeah.
I like stories like that.
Now I can make that story a bad story by sharing something that my wife shared with me this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Did she send it to me? Yeah, she did. Apparently, she had read that Girl Scout cookies contain heavy metals beyond safe limits, and that there's a lawsuit, I think it was in New York, that showed that I guess there was a study in 2024 that it had. I don't see the article now. What is it? There it is.
Eric, you're out of frame here.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Let's see here. Lead was found in all but one of the cookies that they had tested.
Mm-hmm.
They all had samples of glyphosate, isn't that Roundup?
Roundup. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And the study found that they tested 25 cookies from across several states and found they all contained at least 4 of the 5 of the heavy metals. And I guess that's I don't see them listed here, but isn't it arsenic and lead?
Maybe William Shatner could have a song about that.
There you go.
But it says lawsuit alleges. Love that word, allege.
Right.
Here's all the proof, but it's an allegation.
Yeah, they seek like $5 million in damages.
That's ridiculous.
And of course, heavy metals are especially dangerous for young children, cause brain damage, developmental issues.
Mm-hmm. So maybe that 180,000 boxes is not such a good news story.
200 million boxes of those cookies are sold annually.
Wow.
We know where 180,000 of those were sold. Thin Mint showed the highest levels of glass glyphosate.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I just wanted to bring our good news stories down.
Yes. Well, I mean,
be a Debbie Downer.
I like, when I make cookies, I like to go get some pencils and like shave off some of the pencil lead into the batter before I bake them. It enhances the flavor. That's always my preference. Thank you for bringing down a good news story. Do you have any more bad news? Is there a way we can analyze that story to make it better?
Let's go back to our other good news stories and see if we can
cleanse our palate.
No, that's all I got. That's all the good news I got.
That's all the good news? Yeah, that's all the good news I have. I did see a story about a guy that rescued a dog from the snow.
Oh, yeah. Was that from the avalanche or was that separate?
I'm not sure it's avalanche, but it was a Cocker Spaniel, and the whole thing, because usually the Saint Bernard rescuing the human.
Yep,
that was kind of neat.
I saw that too. I just assumed it was part of that avalanche that happened in California. I don't know how many people died. Let's see if I can bring that one down. I know 6 were rescued, so that's good. I mean, you think that is that's a lot of people to be rescued from an avalanche, I would think, but I think more than that passed, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you have any ERO stuff?
I told you earlier I did not come prepared.
You did? Oh, okay. Oh, I missed that. Okay. I heard you say. I just thought you said I didn't come prepared. I was like, oh, great.
Just that one section, but okay, call me out.
But I mean, it could be applied to anything.
It could.
I mean.
And I think we could do this and I could be better prepared for this segment. I do think it's important to get across. But we could also do, this is just us brainstorming for future episodes, but perhaps like life hacks or lessons that other people might find helpful in life. Like,
right.
How to pay our house off early or, strategies for that or whatever,
Well, I can do that on the mortgage thing. So there are many different things there, and we can delve into this in greater detail in another episode. But just this is something I've recommended to many people. Let's just say you get paid 24 times a year, so twice a month, or as some people, 26 times a year, every other Friday. That actually works out better. So let's just say you get paid 26 times a year. If you will take your mortgage, and I know this is not realistic, but just to make it easy, let's say it's $847 a month. Round that up to 1,000 or 900, round it up to the next 100 or whatever you're comfortable with, divide that in 2, and then make that payment every other Friday. That way you will in essence be making 13 payments a year instead of 12, and you'll be making more than the payment actually is to be required.
So you're saying take the difference and divide it by 2, not take that entire extra payment. So you're not paying.
No, let's say your payment is $848.
Let's say it's $1,000.
$1,000.
Okay.
Well, it can't be even. You can't round up. Say it's 1,000.
Say it's 900.
900. Okay. Well, that's even.
Okay. 905.
905. Round up to 1,000.
Okay.
Cut that in half.
Okay.
That's 500.
That's 500.
Make a $500 payment every other Friday.
Okay.
So in essence, you're
paying 1.5 payments.
You'll be making $1,000 payment instead of the 905, 13 times a year instead of $905, 12 times a year.
You're not paying $500 more every 2 weeks.
No, you're paying $500 every 2 weeks.
Right. I follow you. So you're paying $100 more a month.
Right. Well,
in this particular case,
more than a month because you're making 13 payments instead of 12. Because there's 2 months that will have 3 Fridays in it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I've told that to many people. I can't tell you, like, I've heard all these things, it'll shave this much off, shave that much off. Because some people will just do that and not round up. Say if it was 905, then they would do 450, $452.50 every other Friday. That in and of itself, without making any extra, it would be making 13 payments a year instead of 12, which shaves off, I don't know, 5 years, 4 years. I don't know how many years it'll shave off. But if I always advocate for rounding up, just because why not? And then you're making 13 payments a year more than what's due. And it really makes a big difference. And then anytime you have anything extra.
Now, do the banks know when you make that first payments for less, let's say for half of what it's a little more than half of what's due? When you make the next payment, do they know how do they apply that towards?
So what now?
Do they apply it all to? How's that? That's not like making an extra principal payment.
No, it comes out in the wash that way. Yeah, it does. So to get a little bit deeper, I always recommend paying 1 month ahead, and then that way you never get caught behind, right? So you're always paying ahead. So what? And I also recommend checking with the mortgage holder and seeing how their internal system works. Now, most of them will automatically do it the way you want it to. 20 years and more ago, sometimes they didn't. And I found that out the hard way and had to go in and make some adjustments to how I did it. So basically, this is what you do. Let's just say it's 905, right? And and your payment is January, and you've already paid for January or for January in December. So January, you do 500 on Friday, 500 2 Fridays later. So when they get that $500, they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to apply that towards February's payment of 905, right? So at that point in time, you show a partial credit, and you've got $405 left that you owe, right? So then the second Friday in January, you send in 500. Now it goes to your principal. I mean, your payment is fulfilled, and you have $95 left, which most banks will automatically apply towards principal. Now, back in the 90s, when I was doing this on my car, I wrote 2 checks. Because the Bank of America, Nations Bank back then, for people here in Greensboro, remember that, they required a separate check. And on that separate check, I had to write on the 4 line, apply to principal only. I had to do that. Now, most companies will automatically do that
But
for
if you did that, then they could, well, I guess, I see what you're saying. I was thinking they might apply all that to principal and then still have you due for the difference for the March.
Mm-mm. Yeah, well, that's why you have to call your lender to find out how they handle it. With this house, when it started, what they were doing is they would take, in this scenario, they would take the 905, apply it to February, and then they would take that extra $95 and apply it to March. About 6 months into it, I'm like looking at the numbers. I'm like, this isn't right. And I was like 3 months ahead, or it may have been 6 months. I don't know, but I was like 2.5, 3 months ahead. And I'm like, I shouldn't be ahead. What they were doing, they were just holding that $95 and then
applying it to the next month's payment.
Next month, and then it slowly started chipping off a month, 2 months, 3 months. That's not what I wanted. I didn't want to be months ahead, and so I called them, and they offered to go and backtrack everything and apply it the way I was trying to apply it. And I said no, because I think I was 4 months ahead. I liked that because if something were to happen, you've got that 4 month cushion. But no, like most banks and lenders now will do it like in that scenario. They'll just go ahead and put that additional 95 towards the principal. So at the end of the year, like I said, after a full calendar year, you've made 13 payments of 1,000 versus 12 payments of 905. That's significant.
Right.
And then, as you know, the more principal goes down, the less interest, the more money goes towards principal. It's a big cycle that is advantageous to the borrower.
Yeah,
for
you're
sure.
paying less in interest and you're paying off the loan earlier.
Right.
Years earlier.
Since you brought this up, just so you know, I'm not just like regurgitating something I saw online or making stuff up. Without going to all the details, the house that we're in, we built in 2012. We broke ground in late February. We moved in November 5th of 2012, and we paid the house off in 12 and a half years on a 30-year mortgage. Right. So it works. Like, that's just a fact of the matter. And seeing that balance come down, especially when you get around the 7 to 8 year mark, it starts to get exciting because you see so much more going to principal. And if you look at the original amortization schedule, which I kept, and I could look at it at, year 6, month 7, it says X will be going towards principal, and I'm like hundreds above that. Yeah, it's a good feeling. So I'm a huge advocate for that. And you can do that, and not just mortgage, car loans, credit cards. I have coached, maybe is the right word, a few people of getting out of credit card debt, and one person, a massive amount of debt they were in. It seems overwhelming. There's a couple different schools of thought there, starting with the biggest balance, the lowest balance, the highest interest, the lowest interest rate, whatever. At the end of the day,
that one's paid off, what you were paying for those to others.
For the snowball effect, there's a different approaches there. I don't think any of them are vastly superior to the others, as long as you're doing it and you just stick to it. And once you get that debt paid off, it's a feeling of freedom that you can't put into words. It is. It's very liberating. But we can certainly cover stuff like that in more detail. Not, we can get like granular, like specific about mortgages or car loans or credit card debt. I read
an article recently, and I want to say it was called Velocity Program or something. I don't know, about how to pay off your house sooner. And I'm not going to talk about it today because I didn't memorize it. But that's what was in my mind when I said we were talking about other, habits or tricks you can use to better your life.
Which is, at a very, very 50,000 foot looking down, is a premise of ERO, right? I mean, you're how you're addressing the situation, in this way, it absolutely impacts the outcome, without question.
Yeah,
we can do that.
That's one way where you can control the outcome. Absolutely.
I think I was reading an article. I've seen this many times, and I don't remember the numbers, but the amount of credit card debt in this country is like, it scares me. I can't even tell. I don't know the number, but it was just an unbelievable amount.
Yeah,
and like the amount per person on average, it was shocking. Like, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night like that. So yeah, we can definitely work some stuff into
people
that.
Buy everything on. Think of how many people buy their phones. They finance their phones. They don't, maybe not like taking out a loan, but when you're paying $30 a month for a phone over, that's a form of finance. So if you're going to finance $1,000 phone, to finance whatever.
Right. Yeah. My late maternal grandmother, I asked her, I said, "Grandma, how are you so rich?" Because, in my mind, I was, probably 13, 14. She was rich. She wasn't. And she explained that to me. But I was like, give me some financial advice. Because she had zero debt. She owned, I think, 6 or 7 homes that she rented out, and had a decent, by any day's standard, but back then a bigger standard amount of money in liquid. And she told me this. She said, "It's real simple, son. Spend less than you make." And I was like, that's your great advice. And, I'm thinking in my head, but she's right. It really is. There's a lot of people that think they are due something.
Right.
Just because they want it. And that mindset has put a lot of people into financial stress.
My father was very frugal, did not believe in debt at all. He, from when I was 18 till the end, I always made more money than my dad. My dad did not have a high paying job. He was a engraver for Mead Paper Company, and it was making like $30,000 a year, and I was making more than that when I worked at Radio Shack in high school. He later became a foreman for another company, but my point is he never made a lot of money, but when he retired, he had over 1.2, because he spent less than he made. He saved, he invested well. He bought an AT&T and it would split. He bought into 7-Up and Wendy's when they were both young. So, I mean, he invested long, and, now when they passed, he didn't have much because
the expense
of living in a memory care unit, both of them. But, he was able to take care of his wife to the very end without burdening his children.
Right.
So I admire that.
I do too. I won't call names, but there was a young man that I mentored at my last job that I worked, and he was telling me that his dad at this point in time, this is several years ago, his dad was 67, his mom was 63, and they were both working. And I was like, oh, and I didn't mean this offensively. I was like, are they working because they enjoy it? He's like, no, they want to retire. And I was like, well, then why don't they? And he's like, they can't. And they still had a mortgage. He said their mortgage balance was still over $200,000. And my late uncle was that way and I handled all of his financial transactions for the last few years of his life. He asked me to. I remember that. Yeah. And he had a mortgage balance that was greater than the house and property was worth. I was just like, how, I know
equity lines or
both, both. I mean, and he definitely spent more than he made, and he made well, but he spent more. So it really is, I know someone, not well, but we were talking, and he said the most he ever made was $42,000 a year. And similar to your dad, he was when he retired, he had 1 point something in his 401k, and he said that was his best year, and it was towards the end of his career. There were many years where it was like 25, 30,000. So if you, case in point, if you live within your means, well, below your means,
right,
it can be done. It's really just a choice,
right?
Yeah, we can carve out a few here and there where we can, because for me it's a similar approach, but for a mortgage and a car, it's a very similar approach. But I do have a few nuances that I do differently. And for credit card debt, it's a complete different approach, the one that I personally advocate for.
Yep.
So cool.
Yeah, I have a different approach on cars too, but
like keep all the ones that you ever have.
Hey, I do have 3 cars.
Looks like a Ford parking lot.
I have 3 cars, and 2 of them have over 240,000 miles on them. And one has 180, but they're all paid off.
Absolutely.
And when one's in the shop, I have something else to drive. They've all served me well. Different purposes for each. I have a truck, and have one for showing property and one whatever. So. But
you say you had a different approach on cars? You mean like for paying them off, or?
Always, I try to buy so 2 of the cars I bought. I knew somebody who owned a car dealership, Craig's brother, and
Uncle Craig or
no,
Worker Craig.
Worker Craig.
Okay.
And he and I have become friends too. His brother and I have become friends. He at one time owned or was part owner in a car dealership, and offered, or I asked, I can't remember how it came about, but I bought that first truck, the Explorer Sports Track, which is now over 21 years old.
Right.
Unlike my dad had a blue truck that I can remember since I was born to the time he died. So I mean, I guess I come by it honest. But he took me to the auction. I was very specific on what I wanted. Of course, it's luck of the draw, but basically he bought it at auction, and I paid him $500 more than he bought it for at auction. So he had, and so I had an instant equity from the very beginning.
Right.
And I actually paid cash for that car. So I never had a car payment on it. The Edge, similar, bought it through the auction. And then the Lincoln, bought from a dealer, and I paid half down and then paid it off early. So, but
yeah, it does take some discipline. I remember
try to take the emotion out of it when you're buying, I guess.
Yes,
that's the point.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
And what I did that was back when I was visiting mom and dad in Ohio, basically twice a month. And I was driving the truck, which got 13 miles to the gallon. Well, I quickly realized I could rent a car and drive it that had got better gas mileage. And the money I saved on gas offset the cost of the rental. So it really didn't cost me anything. Right. I was putting less wear on my truck. And, and then I got to test drive several different cars. So I found what I wanted. And that's when I realized I wanted the Edge. So,
well, that if you look at it the way that's smart, you were actually coming out ahead. Let's just say it came out in the wash. You're still coming out ahead because you're not getting the wear and tear on your car.
Right.
Yeah, that was good planning there. Speaking of Craig, I have to tell this story. I've told it many times. We have it. Is it an emergency?
Nope.
Eric likes to sleep while he drives. I'm joking. No. Craig has the funniest line for me. I'm not trying to embarrass you, but they were on their way to Ohio, and Craig said, "Do you want me to drive?"
Mom and Dad were downsizing.
Right.
And I was going up there to pick up the dining room suite. I was going to bring it home.
Yeah.
And so I had rented a trailer, and Craig was going up with me to help me move.
Help you do some. At that point, he was renting your basement, right? Yeah. And Craig said, "Do you want me to help driving?" Eric said, "No." And he's like, "Well, do you want me to wake you up when we get there?"
I guess I was nodding off because I could drive that in my sleep, clearly. I'd been there so many times. And it was late by the time we got there.
Right.
But
yeah, those long hauls. You would leave like as soon as you could on a Friday afternoon.
Right. And
you would get up there like 1, 2 in the morning, whatever. Yeah. So that was still one of my favorite stories.
You want me to drive? No. I'm going to wake you up when we get there.
So I think we run out of content. Well, I don't know if we ever had content, but
yeah, I have nothing else.
Okay. So thank you for listening. I saw we picked up, it's funny, I think I mentioned this last week, but in the first iteration of the show, how we had these pockets and these places that we had no explanation for. One of them was New Zealand, specifically Christchurch, New Zealand. Well, and then the next time I went in and looked at the analytics, we had a listener from New Zealand. And I was like, the odds, how did that happen? So
maybe because we mentioned New Zealand, they somehow target people.
Yeah,
recommend it to people.
Yeah,
I have no idea how
they call it impressions. I think I don't know all the terminology. I am ignorant in this space, but I think basically, like it's like just randomly served up to people for whatever. And so maybe because the term New Zealand was in there, it was, presented to people in New Zealand. Perhaps, I don't know. But thank you. We have New Zealand, we have Poland, we have a couple countries in Africa. I can't remember them right now, and United Kingdom, and then of course USA, and there might be more. But for the people that are listening, downloading or streaming it, either way, thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm in real estate, and oftentimes I'll ask buyers that I'm working with, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you like to live?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the buyers I'd worked with, she was a travel agent and had visited practically everywhere in the world. And she said the most beautiful place she's ever been was New Zealand. Now, the most common answer I got was San Diego.
Yes.
And I got a text from a mutual friend of ours, Bill Buffington.
Oh, yeah?
Who just bought a vacation home in San Diego.
Really? For real?
I believe it.
I love you,
I want
Bill.
to believe it. He's offered to let me stay there. We'll see.
Right.
But he said he bought it for family to use, and he and the family were going in April 6th, I think. And they were going to play at Pebble Beach and I guess another.
He's an avid golfer.
He is an avid golfer. So.
Well, it's the weather there is supposed to be phenomenal, right?
Yep.
And quite often you'll see like Los Angeles, 92 degrees, and then San Diego will be like
72 or something.
82.
Well, I think isn't the medium temperature in San Diego like 72 or 74? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Year round.
Yeah, year round. Yeah. But I mean, if you've ever been in the Pacific, the water is different than here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's significantly different, even if it's hot.
Went to most of my junior high and high school. Well, I went 2 years of high school here in North Carolina, but most of it was in Kettering, Ohio. Smartest friend I've ever known in my life. His name was Ben Buckner. He lives in San Diego. He's got like he's got 2 PhDs, and just the guy was speaking Latin at like 12. I mean, it's just, he is brilliant. He's probably a genius, but he lives out there too.
Well, Carl Poe.
Yep.
He
I don't really know Carl,
but
I know
of him.
I know his brother.
Yeah. So Carl and I have known each other since '85. He
is he stationed in Australia right now?
No, he is in California, Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where he is right now. I don't know where he's stationed somewhere in Maryland, but he lives in California, Maryland. He was in Sicily, and then he went to San Diego.
The reason I knew that he was in Sicily is that was when we were doing the show originally years ago.
Yes.
And he would listen in and would show up in our analytics.
Right. And then he went back to Sicily. And so you're just going from weather to weather to weather, like all the two perfect. I mean, they always say, my dad has always said, you need the super hot and the super cold so you can appreciate, the perfect in between. But I think I've had enough of the super hot and the super cold that I could appreciate that 72 year round for the rest of my life. I'm just throwing that out.
I like the change of seasons.
I do like the change of seasons.
I moved back to Ohio in '94, partly because my mom wasn't well, but partly because I thought I missed the seasons and the winters. It was 20 below for a week. I was back here the next year. That's not typical up there, but that was brutal.
So I think we have come to the end of our show. Thank you for listening. And for our international, for everyone, but the international ones, it's always exciting because you would expect that there would be listeners from your country, right? But when you start seeing,
I don't expect it. I hope for it.
Right. Well, I mean, not expect in that sense. There would be in your mind, you would think and assume the majority, which they are, the majority would be from your home country. But seeing those different international countries pop up for me is always exciting.
Yeah. Makes our show international.
Yes. Well, it's internationally famous.
It is.
Eric and I are both extroverts, and we like people. We like meeting people and learning about people.
I'm technically an introvert. I'm right on the edge.
Oh, okay.
It's almost 50-50.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, you're A-type.
I don't know what that means, but I'll take it.
Personality, isn't it?
I have no idea.
I think you are. Most people in sales and
when I took that, is it Myers-Briggs?
Myers-Briggs,
where it's like INTJ or something like that, introverted, judgmental, analytical, whatever.
I'm very judgmental. I'll admit it.
It didn't mean it in a negative way. Their definition is slightly different. And I might be using the wrong one, but I think that's right. Maybe it's judgmental. It's judging, I think is what they say. Anyway, I don't know. It's been years since I read that book. It was a book called Do What You Are. And you took a personality type and it puts you in you answer the questionnaire, it puts you to figure out your personality type,
Mm-hmm.
and then you do the careers. Then they list the careers that are most best matched to those personality types.
Gotcha.
So, and my personality type was for sales and real estate came up in it too.
Mm-hmm. That's what I meant by extrovert. Everybody I think has both. Most extroverts have some qualities that could be considered an introvert for sure. But you aren't scared of people. Like you like interacting and meeting. For me, it's exciting to meet new people. So when I see those, other countries popping up, it makes me happy. I like that. So as we continue to grow from the single digits to the teens and followers, we invite more countries to listen in. So yes, subscribe, follow, engage. Don't forget, if you want some merchandise, there is our show's official logo by the show's official design graphic designer. The lovely Sarah created for us, and so it's out there. And if stuff actually picks up in that area, we can throw some more.
And if you see any stories you'd like for us to discuss, send them our way.
And if you on the financial stuff, like we are not financial experts. Mm-hmm. However, as we cover some of those things, if you have questions around that, or if you're in a situation where you feel that there's no way, there is always a way out.
Right.
There is.
By no means I claim to be a financial planner or anything like that, but I mean, I've been doing real estate for 25 years. Mm-hmm. Christopher worked for a bank for God, how long? 27. And I will say this, there was someone, I'll be careful with this, someone that I know was in a position where they felt they had no choice but to file bankruptcy. And I talked them out of it. Now, sometimes that may be your only last ditch effort, but I asked if we could meet. We did a review of everything from A to Z. And I said, I do not believe you have to file bankruptcy. It won't be easy. In fact, it will be very difficult. But if you do X, Y, and Z, you don't have to completely trash your credit on that. And thankfully, she took my advice and she did not file bankruptcy. She's out of debt and in a much better place. So there is always a way out, or a way to address it without necessarily being drastic, but it may not be fun. Right.
But we can definitely, listener submitted stuff. We love it. And with that, I guess we'll wrap it up.
All right. Till next week.
Till next week.